Dr. Akram here, and in this quick tutorial, I'm going to give you an overview of how to get started with HitFilm Express. So HitFilm Express is a very lightweight video editor. There is the free version, which is the Express version, but there are different tiers of the software application, and each one offers some more add-ons, effects, but I would say as an alternative, as a reasonably priced alternative to things like Adobe Premiere, HitFilm Express is excellent, and there's a lot you can do with the free version. So I'm really quickly going to give you an overview. If you've never used any video editing software before, you might find yourself a little overwhelmed with the interface. So I'm going to walk you through a couple of things that you need to know to get started. Starting with the media tab right here. So in this tab is where you import any images, video, audio that you want to use in your project. And all you have to do is you right click and hit import. And you can see here there's different things that you can import. Now my suggestion to you if you're working on a large scale project is to create folders to organize your project assets. And to create those folders, all you have to do is click on the folder icon right there. It gives you a name, and then you can create a new folder. I'm going to undo that here. I'm going to get rid of that particular folder because I don't need it. You can also right click and choose new folder as well. But the folders just help keep you organized in your project. And as you can see, I've got a raw folder here, which is the raw video footage. I've got a folder for my intros and outros, which were pre-made MP4s that I brought in that are already rendered. And then I have some images and some external audio that I brought in as well. So I've got that all organized. The next big thing that you're going to look at is your editor over here. And your editor is where you're going to construct your video project. It's where you put in all your images, video, audio, whatnot. And to kind of navigate the editor, over here you've got different tracks that you can go through. You've got different video tracks, as you can see, and then you also have different audio tracks. And you can add tracks if needed. I can right click in here and add a track, delete a track, even rename tracks. Then you also have off to the side some tools about how you edit within this window. The big things to keep in mind about this particular editor window are the navigation tools down at the bottom. You'll see these little mountains. And if I move this dot in, the video tracks become closer. And you can see over here, my audio waveform is zoomed in, so I can see that a little bit better. Now, if I go back to my navigator and move it towards the smaller side, I can see the entire timeline and the entire length of all my video edits. So you want to keep track of navigating, zooming in and out in order to make edits as necessary. Now, typically you don't do a lot of editing inside the editor. It's just the timeline of what you are compiling. What you typically do is you move to the trimmer tab over here. So the trimmer tab, if you've worked with other video editing softwares, is typically referred to as like the source view. And this is where you would place your raw video and you would edit it inside of here. So for example, I'm going to go down to my media tab. I'm going to take my raw video. I click on it and immediately it shows up inside of my trimmer window. And if I come down to these little tools here, this is my in and out point. And what I can do is I can play this video, and where I decide that's where I want the video to start, I don't need that excess stuff, I can set an in point, and then I can play some more, and where I want it to end, I can go ahead and set an out point. And then that adjusted clip can then be dragged and dropped into my editor window down here. So that's just an example of doing some edits. Going back to the editor window, and I'm just going to zoom in a little bit on here. Again, you can see I've got different tracks. You can see these icons here. These are transitions. So between one clip to the next clip, to make it easier on viewers to transition, we have what is called video transitions, and you can add those very easily by going to the effects tab right here. In the effects tab, you've got a lot of different effects. Some of these are add-ons, but there are quite a few that are free, including the video transition, dissolve, cross dissolve. This is the most generic transition that just makes it easier to move from one scene to the next. And all you do is you drag and drop it in between the 2 frames of the video. If I scroll over here again, you can see that I've got one here. I've actually got one between this. There's a little in-between frame here. Do I have any more? I think I have one more at the very end right here. So again, it's in between where the video lets off. And if you want to see what's going on in your editor window, you're going to want to go over to the View tab. This is the live view of your final product. Whatever you have edited in the editor window shows up in the viewer window. And here you can see I've got this video clip. I've added a cross dissolve between the 2, and it fades into the next video here. So really simple, really nice. And that's pretty much it. You kind of trim your videos in this window, you drag and drop them into the editor, you manipulate them, you add different things, you add a transition, and then finally when you're all set, ready to go, the last thing you want to do is hit the export button. And this is just going to bring you up a dialog to where you want to save your project. Now before starting your project, you're going to want to make sure you have the settings for your project set up. But basically after you've selected where it saves, you're going to go over to the export tab and hit start exporting. And you can see that this particular project is set up as a YouTube 1080p HD file. So it's got the right coding and export settings to be output to YouTube once the video has been exported. So that is a really quick, really condensed overview of HitFilm Express, and I hope that helps you get started on your next video editing project. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and don't forget to check out our other tutorials on the channel. What are you waiting for? Get creative today!